Happy Football Friday, everyone. This is Palmetto Sports Daily. Rick Henry here in Columbia, Tegan Brown in Myrtle Beach, Kevin Bilodeau in Charleston, and Carmine Jamay in Greenville. And before we get started on high school football, I just want to point out that I'm wearing pink. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and every Football Friday on my late show, when we do our high school football highlights, I wear pink to support people dealing with this illness, people who have lost loved ones, and the people working hard to find a cure. Now, high school football, our games of the week. Mine is South Aiken at Gray Collegiate. Now, Gray Collegiate, the War Eagles, they compete in Region 4, 4A. Now, they got off to a little bit of a rough start this season, losing two of the first three. Those losses were to James Island and Dutch Fork. Both of those schools are ranked in the top 10 of the statewide 5A poll. Dutch Fork is third and James Island is seventh. But Gray Collegiate, they put it together. They won four straight by an average score of 49-10. War Eagles head coach D'Angelo Bryant says his team actually benefited from those early losses.
Well, we had to learn how to compete, and we had to learn how to compete at a high level. And I think anytime that you can challenge yourself at the beginning of the season, you always want those wins, obviously, but I think the reward on the back end of it is much more pleasing and much more preparing for you as a football team. So we were glad that we took on those challenges early on in the season. Dutch Fork, James Island, if you look at those two schools and what they're doing down the road, it's really great, and I think it's really prepared us ultimately for our region challenges.
Now, those early losses knocked them out of my Midlands top 10. A win tonight, I think they'll be getting back in. Kevin, what's your big game?
Yeah, here in the Low Country, we've got a Skiza matchup as Northwood Academy, who's ranked 7th in our Friday Night Lights poll. They play host to Pinewood Prep, the defending state champions at the Skiza 4A level. So this is a big matchup for both teams. They were actually supposed to meet up in week 1 of the season, had to push it back because of weather. And here, this is the designated week that Skiza leaves open to schedule makeups in case anything like this happens. So it just works out that these two teams now playing here towards the middle of October instead of in the end of August. But it's a game both teams have been looking forward to for a long time, both using this as a measuring stick to see what they have to do and what they have to improve on over the last couple of weeks to get ready for a postseason run.
Pinewood's good. They're good. They are probably the best team. I know they just lost to Wilson Hall, but they're probably the best team in 3A, and they present us a little different problem than what we've been facing. They're not as much pounders. They're going to throw the ball around and all that, so it's going to test our secondary out.
They're very athletic, a lot of speed, really good size up front. Johnny does a good job getting them to play. They play hard, they play physical. They really took it to us a lot last year in the matchup. We adjusted well. It ended up being a great game, a 3-point game, but looking forward to the same kind of chess match, physicality, just a really good football game.
Meant to say Pinewood is the defending champs in skis at 3A as they get ready to go on the road tonight to take on Northwood. Tegan.
Yeah, our game of the week is all about two teams that are still trying to rack up some region wins. Conway and St. James, both Beach Region schools here. Both of them 2-5 on the year, and both teams coming off of losses. Conway coming off of a loss to Myrtle Beach, and then St. James coming off of a loss to North Myrtle Beach. But with the way that high school football works here, even if you've only won, one region game at this point, like Conway has, they're 1-1 in region. Then you got St. James, they're 0-2. You can still earn a spot in the playoffs if you do well in these last 3 games. But both teams looking to make some improvements.
We've been in a lot of ball games. We know we're a good football team. Really just respond to adversity throughout the way and finish ball games. We got to put 48 minutes together.
We just have to execute the little things. We give up a bunch of mistakes like costly turnovers or a couple penalties. We just got to eliminate those things, and I think we'll be okay and we'll be able to win.
Well, I just want us to get consistent on defense. That's been a big thing for us. It's been a big thing for a lot of years here, and also we got to get some stops, got to get some big plays on that side of the ball.
Kickoff at 7:30 tonight on Friday. As you're watching this, we'll have to see who gets a region win there, Carmine.
Yeah, guys, and we're focused not on the football field, but on the ice specifically for Friday night. A special broadcast, the opening game for the Greenville Swamp Rabbits right here on Palmetto Sports and Entertainment Network. Takes place 7 o'clock tonight, and then we'll be right back showing game 2 for the opening weekend, 3 o'clock Sunday. We also have today Clemson men's basketball in its first exhibition of the season. Basketball season's already here, hosting Presbyterian College. But right on the other side of this break, some big news for Clemson football and quarterback Cade Klubnik coming up next. Welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily, previewing all levels of football coming up on a great weekend starting today. And guys, as they say in sports, the best availability or the best ability is availability, and that availability is in question for Cade Klubnik, Clemson's star quarterback, after a tough hit he took in the third quarter of the Boston College game. Really got cramped between 3 Boston College defenders when the team was up 34-10, went down with an ankle injury, and we'll pull up the video here. Limping around, not looking 100% for sure. He exited that game, and Christopher Vizina came in, who, by the way, was a highly touted quarterback, ranked 7th by ESPN as far as quarterbacks in the entire country in the class of 2023. Came in, but didn't play very well, threw 1 interception. He's only thrown 14 passes all season. He's 7 of 14 passing. And Cade Klubnik has been listed as questionable on the first injury report of this week, which came out just last night. So his health clearly in question. They don't know if he's going to go, if he's not. Dabo said that Christopher Vizina is the next guy up, which we already knew. Trent Pierman, the Daniel High School superstar, 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year in South Carolina and 2-time state champ. 24-0 record in high school for Trent Pierman. He's third string in case anything then happens to Vizina. But I think Tigers fans should be very concerned because they have not seen much from Christopher Vizina. He's only gone 19 of 34 passing for 190 yards in really only 2 seasons getting on the field for Clemson. Kevin, not good news. We talked about this yesterday. We showed the Dabo soundbite expressing somewhat confidence with Vizina. But this is territory that Clemson's hardly in. 2020 was the last time a quarterback missed the start. As we mentioned, Trevor Lawrence was in the COVID protocols. And 2014 was the last time a quarterback missed a game, starting quarterback for Clemson because of injury. 2014, Deshaun Watson. And Cole Stout came in and led them to a bowl game victory against Oklahoma. So I'm very concerned because I don't know what Vizina has in the tank as far as winning against a really good SMU team in the ACC. But what do you think?
I think it's concerning whichever guy plays at this point. If it's Vizina, we don't know what he can offer against an 18 defense and that SMU is going to bring. The other thing I wanted to ask you was, let's say Klubnik plays, and right now it looks like less than 50-50 that he's going to play, but let's say he's around 60 to 70% healthy when he goes into this game. How is that going to change what Clemson does offensively, Carmine, as they get ready to take on this tough SMU defense?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, hopefully it makes them run the rock because you've seen Adam Randall, guys, this season, the converted wide receiver to running back. I mean, this guy's a horse back there. He's not Phil Maffa as far as, that exact level. But anytime he touches the ball, he can come out of the backfield. Maybe they get, maybe they get Adam Randall on some swing passes, some wheel routes like we saw against North Carolina. But just turn and hand it off. Obviously these guys know much more about football than me, but I've been begging and hoping that, especially at the beginning of these games, they just hand the ball off to big Adam Randall. And Braden Jacobs is coming on. I know you guys saw that, the 6'8", 350-pound tackle for Clemson. If he gets in there and gets some more action, Brandon Jacobs' son, the New York Giants legendary running back, I mean, he is just a force out there. So if he can get behind some of these big offensive linemen, very experienced, they seem like they're gelling together. Now, the level of competition hasn't been great the past couple games, but I would say run the ball, and then Klubnik hopefully can get open for some of these throws, especially to Bryant Wesco Jr. has been looking great. 6 touchdowns in 6 games for the sensational sophomore. But there's a sensational quarterback on the other side of the ball for SMU who nearly led a comeback win for SMU over Clemson in the ACC championship game last season. That's Kevin Jennings, very dynamic, reminds Dabo Swinney of Lamar Jackson. Not saying he's exactly up to that level, but Dabo very complimentary over the quarterback on the other side of the ball right here.
You're like 6, 7 seconds plus on some of his plays where he's able to hold the ball, which just creates a lot of stress on your back end. So you've got to cover these guys until the echo of the whistle, from the ref. So he's just a gifted player. He's a great one. So he puts a lot of strain on you in all areas. I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson, but that's the type of stress you feel when you're playing this guy, because he's just that gifted. He makes plays. He makes amazing throws, off-schedule plays, sidearm throws. He has a good knack of moving defenders. And then again, you get him outside, he's a good thrower on the run too. Just a really good player, very good player. Got a lot of respect for him. We got our hands full with him for sure.
And they definitely did have their hands full in that ACC championship game trying to contain Jennings. So we'll see how that defense is able to deal with things. Plus, they got the quarterback concern. Lots up in the air for Clemson. And, Rick, the Gamecocks on the other side, they need a bounce-back win as well.
Yeah, the question around these parts, can Shane Beamer and his Gamecocks put together another second-half surge? They stand at 3-3 here at the midway point of the season. They need 3 wins down the stretch to become bowl eligible, and it won't be easy with Oklahoma, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, and Clemson all on the schedule. Now, Coach Beamer's telling his guys, hey, USC has a history of playing their best in the season's closing weeks. In 2022, they went 4-2 in the final 6 regular season games to finish 8-4. Then last year, they were also 3-3. They closed out the regular season with a 6-game winning streak to finish 9-3. Carolina kicks off the season's second half Saturday at home, 12:45 against Oklahoma.
We've always been a team that has gotten better as the year has gone. You can say a lot about the teams that I've coached as the head coach, but one thing that you can't say is that we haven't gotten better every single season as the year goes, and saw signs of that. We didn't win the game, but I saw signs of that on Saturday, and saw signs of that with the way that we went out and approached practice on Sunday night. We can't sit around here and be sad boys because we're 3-3 and just lost a heartbreaker in a lot of ways to LSU. It's pick yourself off the mat and get ready to go again. And that's life, and that's what we did in 22. That's what we did in 23 to a certain degree when we were sitting there at 2-6, and what we did last year and what we need to do this year as well.
I have to admit the Gamecocks are farther away than they were last year when they were at 3-3 of becoming that team that could rattle off 6 straight wins. But I think they may be able to get enough wins to at least become bowl eligible, but it's not going to be easy. All right now we're going to focus on the Oklahoma Sooners. Now they're coming off their first loss against their big rival, Texas, and this is going to be their first trip ever for the football program to Columbia and Williams-Brice Stadium. Now, Brent Venables, Oklahoma's head coach, he's very familiar with Willie B because he spent 10 years at Clemson as the Tigers' defensive coordinator. So here's what he's telling his guys about making the trip to South Carolina's capital city.
Really kind of our first true road test when it comes to handling a different type of environment, pretty much what you see in the SEC week in and week out. Going to Columbia and playing Coach Beamer's team. They're 3-3 right now. They're dang good.
Yeah, and Venables, you saw some of South Carolina's best teams ever during the Steve Spurrier era. Not quite at that level yet, but Kevin, what do you think? Can the Gamecocks at least muster some magic here down the stretch to salvage this season where they had high hopes at the beginning?
Nope, back to you.
Wow, that's it. That's it. You're not giving them anything.
No, I'll give them 2 more wins this year. They'll beat Coastal Carolina, and they'll beat, I don't know, they'll upset someone along the way because they're going to have to upset someone if they're going to pick up another win. But they're not going to win a bowl game this year, Tegan.
Yeah, I mean, I have pretty much your same sense of positivity with this one. I think, obviously I'm here to cover Coastal, but if I'm looking at that South Carolina Coastal game, seems like a win for the Gamecocks. And then, the second one they might win. I don't know if we can call it an upset at this point till we get closer, maybe the Clemson game. But other than that, these SEC games, I don't see them winning any of those, Carmine.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys with a slightly more eloquent answer than Kevin, not in quality, but just quantity, Kevin. No offense, just with the minimal words there. But because Oklahoma's going to be angry, like Rick said, they just lost to Texas in that huge Red River rivalry there. And John Mateer's thumb is 1 week healthier for the Oklahoma quarterback. So, and then Rick made a great point about the lack of protection on the offensive line for the Gamecocks and the incredible output of defensive line play that Oklahoma has, which is a bad combination, even for Lenora Sellers, as slippery as he is evading those tackles. I just don't see this one going the Gamecocks' way. I agree. Maybe one more win, maybe two for South Carolina, Rick.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting day, especially with the state fair. Traffic is going to be awful. If you're going to the game or the fair, leave early. That's going to wrap it up for this segment of PSD. We'll take a timeout and return.
It is rivalry week for Coastal Carolina as they hit the road heading to App State, taking on the Mountaineers. A bitter rivalry, but Coastal has beat them the past 3 years in a row. Last year, the students stormed the field in Conway. There they are right there, making that risky jump. Yeah, it's higher than it looks. So, but they did it. But Coastal Carolina hitting the road. And just like Clemson, they've got a little bit of a quarterback question as well because Tad Hudson, who you saw right there, struggling a little bit in that rainy weather, he is questionable according to the latest Sunbelt injury report. Of course, we'll get another one tomorrow. But Tamari Collier right there, number 10, he did as good as he could in that game, stepping in 5 for 15, threw for a touchdown, ran for a touchdown, led the team in rushing yards with 86, so he could use his legs. And we hadn't really seen him at all before this game, and we're not sure if he's the guy that we're going to see this Saturday. But right now, it seems kind of that same thing, 50-50, maybe a little bit less. Tad Hudson, we're not really sure what his injury is. It is an undisclosed injury. But the fall that he took, it looked like maybe a shoulder, maybe a head. So we'll have to see. But yeah, Coastal Carolina, also 3-3 on the year. And just like South Carolina, not sure if they're going to get the wins they need to make a bowl game. They've still got to play JMU. They've still got to play Marshall. They've got to play App State, Georgia State, Georgia Southern, and, of course, South Carolina. So what do you guys think? Do we see the Chants making it to a bowl game, Kevin?
No, back to you.
Good. Okay, cool. Rick, how about you?
I'll say, yeah, Coastal is going to find a way to get it together and get to a bowl game. So I'll give the Chants some love. Carmine?
I shan't be siding with you on that, Rick. I'm going to go with Kevin.
Oh my!
I'm so sorry. This guy says no back to you, and I get all the blame. Anyway, all right, let's move on. There's no rivalry between me and Kevin. There is a rivalry though here in the App State, guys, and that one is between Wofford and Furman. I hope not, based on the spirit you have against these teams. I don't want to get that against myself. All right, so guys, Wofford and Furman. Let's pull up this video here. This rivalry it's called the Deep South's oldest rivalry. Now, it's not the Deep South's oldest football rivalry. That belongs to Georgia and Auburn, dating back to 1893. But the Furman-Wofford battle here dates back to 1889. It predates that one by 4 years, and that is not in football, but in all sports. So it goes way back there. Furman leads this all-time series 56-35 and 7 ties. Furman has 56 wins in the all-time series, but Wofford has won the last 2, and that's somewhat surprising because of how dominant Furman's been as a national power, finishing in the NCAA tournament just a couple seasons ago. But Wofford upset them in that final season, in which Furman finished 6th in the country at the end of that year. So, and both times Wofford won that game 19-13. So we'll see what happens in this matchup. The Terriers are coming off a win over Michael Vick's Norfolk State team. That was their only win of the year. They're 1-5 on the season. Furman is 4-2. Wofford's been getting their hearts broken all season long, starting with that matchup we talked about on this show against South Carolina State. But we'll be right back to wrap up the show, guys, right after this.
And welcome back to Palmetto Sports Daily. It's time for our Locks of the Week, the segment where we're supposed to pick a game that we are absolutely sure someone is going to win, despite what everyone else on the panel has been saying off air over the last several hours. My pick this week is number 1 Ohio State. They're going to beat Wisconsin. You can take that to the bank because I have not missed one of these games yet this season. I'm still in first place, and now's the part where everyone else complains that I'm taking advantage of the rules and just picking easy ones. So, Rick, go ahead.
Yeah, talk about picking easy ones. My goodness. Pretty soon you're going to be picking someone against air. Okay, my lock of the week, I'm going with the Gamecocks against Oklahoma. It's like 2022 when no one thought USC could beat Tennessee or Clemson. I think they're going to get Oklahoma. Take it to the bank.
All right. Well, we were asked to pick some spicy picks today. That was the word of the day. So I'm going to take one. I don't think it's super spicy, but I'll take LSU over Vandy. I know that Vandy's a 2.5-point favorite in this one. But, yeah, Kevin, I got to pick one that a little bit more higher stakes, Carmine.
Yeah, I'm going to support Kevin just so I don't get any of the no back to you wrath back on me, because I think he's completely right. His picks have been locks, and he's proven it, and I really respect and really admire Kevin. Just to get that out there. All right, Presbyterian College over Stetson.
Oh, my.
Presbyterian beating Stetson at home.
This is ridiculous.
Presbyterian gets a win and gets off to its best start
Carmine's
to a
a good guy.
season since 1959.
I'm taking whoever has bye week this week. You know what?
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Rick and Tegan also have a great weekend as well. And,
what kind of blackmail does Kevin have on you, Carmine? I want to see those pictures. My goodness.
No.